Raymond had been married to his wife Elizabeth for many years. Together they had a beautiful daughter named Clara. From the moment Clara was born, she became the light of her father's life. Raymond and Clara shared a bond so strong that it was almost magical. He adored her and never missed a chance to make her feel loved and special. Unlike Raymond, Elizabeth had a harsh temperament. She often lost her patience and would shout at Clara over the slightest mistake. This made Clara naturally gravitate towards her father, who was gentle and understanding, while Elizabeth corrected Clara with stern words and frustration. Raymond did so with jokes and calm explanations. He never raised his voice at her. This difference in parenting created an inseparable connection between Clara and her father. They spent almost all their time together, laughing, chatting and sharing stories. Clara felt safe with Raymond and trusted him deeply. She confided in him about everything that happened in her day, her joys, her fears and even her little secrets. In turn, Raymond would listen attentively, making jokes and turning even her worries into laughter. Their conversations were filled with joy and their laughter echoed through the house like music. Raymond's love for Clara was so profound that he couldn't bear to leave her behind, even when his work required him to travel. He always brought her along on his business trips, determined to keep her close and ensure she was happy. Clara's presence gave him strength and purpose, and her laughter was like medicine to his soul. To Raymond, Clara's happiness was everything. Seeing her smile and knowing she was content filled his heart with joy. No matter how busy or tired he was, he made time for her, ensuring she never felt lonely or neglected. Their bond was more than just a father and daughter connection. It was a friendship, a partnership, and a love that could never be broken. One evening, Clara and her father, Raymond, sat in the living room as they often did, chatting and laughing. They spoke about their day, shared funny encounters, and teased each other, filling the house with warmth and happiness. Clara felt at ease at her father's jokes, brought smiles to her face, and for Raymond, these moments with his daughter were the highlights of his day. Elizabeth, who had been in the bedroom, walked out and saw them together. Her heart burned with jealousy as she watched the closeness between them. Unable to contain her anger, she erupted into a loud outburst. "Shameless girl," Elizabeth shouted, her voice sharp and bitter. Clara and Raymond froze, their smiles fading as they turned to face her. "So you are here dragging my husband's attention away from me. You have nothing better to do than sit around, laughing and chatting with my husband, as if he's yours." Clara blinked in confusion, and Raymond was too stunned to speak. Elizabeth continued her tirade, her voice rising. "Your mates are out there getting married, building their own homes, and here you are, clinging to my husband like you will never leave. Shameless daughter of mine." Clara's face turned red with embarrassment as Elizabeth's words grew harsher. "Do you think because I have never poured hot water on you, you can do whatever you like? Let me warn you, Clara. One day I will pour acid on you, not hot water, because I have upgraded from water to acid. Leave my husband alone." The room fell silent. Clara stared at her mother, her chest tightening with disbelief. Tears welled up in her eyes, but she forced herself to stay calm. "Mom," she said, her voice trembling, "he's my father too. How can you accuse me of dragging my own father's attention away from you? Are you saying I should leave my father's house and go get married just to make you happy?" Clara wiped a tear from her cheek, her tone growing stronger. "If that's what you want, why not put me up for sale on the road? Place me there so men can start pricing me like I am a commodity. Mom, I can't believe the things you just said to me. Am I not your only daughter? Do you hate me that much?" Elizabeth looked away, but Clara wasn't done. "Mom, did you marry at my age? Why are you acting like I have failed you? Or is there something you and Dad haven't told me? Am I really your biological daughter? Because this hatred you have for me feels like I'm just some stranger in this house. It's too much, Mom. It's too much." Clara couldn't hold back her tears anymore. She ran to her room, slammed the door, and threw herself onto her bed. She sobbed into her pillow, her mind racing with questions. Why does she hate me so much? What did I ever do to deserve this? For hours, Clara lay on her bed, her tears soaking the sheets as she thought about her life. The words her mother had said echoed in her mind, each one cutting deeper than the last. She felt like a stranger in her own home, unloved and unwanted by the one person who was supposed to protect her. Meanwhile, Raymond sat in the living room, his heart heavy. He had never seen Elizabeth act this way before, and her words had left him deeply troubled. He knew he had to do something to mend the situation, but he wasn't sure where to begin. As the night wore on, Clara remained in her room, feeling more alone than ever. Her father's love was the only thing keeping her grounded, but her mother's hatred left a wound that wouldn't easily heal. Clara sat in her room, tears streaming down her face as she replayed her mother's harsh words over and over again. She felt broken and unloved, questioning why Elizabeth, her own mother, seemed to despise her so much. While she cried, her father Raymond walked into the room. He saw her pain and immediately sat beside her, pulling her into a warm embrace. Clara, he said softly, holding her close, don't let your mother's words get to you. She's only jealous of the love we share, but nothing she does will ever change how much I love you. Our bond is unbreakable, and her jealousy can't come between us. Clara sniffled, finding a little comfort in his words. I love you more, Dad, she replied, her voice trembling but filled with sincerity. Raymond smiled and hugged her tighter. And I will always love you, my precious daughter. Don't ever doubt that. That night, Clara felt a bit better, drawing strength from her father's reassurance. They continued spending time together, but things took a darker turn a few days later. One evening, Raymond was in Clara's room telling her one of his many captivating folktales. Clara listened eagerly, her laughter filling the air as her father brought the story to life. Suddenly, the door burst open and Elizabeth stormed in. Her face was twisted with anger. Without a word, he grabbed Clara by the arm and started dragging her out of the room. Clara struggled against her mother's grip, shouting, Mom, this is my room. Leave me alone. Please, let go of me. Elizabeth ignored her cries, her rage blinding her to the pain she was causing. In the struggle, Clara's foot hit the edge of the bed and she let out a piercing scream. Blood trickled from a deep wound on her foot as she collapsed to the floor, crying in agony. Raymond rushed to Clara's side, his heart breaking at the sight of her injury. He scooped her up in his arms and carried her to his room, laying her gently on the bed. Stay still, Clara, he said calmly. I will take care of this. He retrieved the first aid box and began cleaning the wound with mentholated spirit. The sharp sting made Clara cry out, Daddy, please stop! It hurts too much. I can't take it anymore. Raymond's heart ached as he walked quickly. I know it hurts, sweetheart, but you have to be strong. I promise, I'm almost done. This is for your own good, so you can heal and walk properly again. Clara cried through the pain, but Raymond stayed calm and focused. When he finished, he wrapped the wound carefully and hugged Clara. You'll be okay now, he whispered. I will make sure your mother never hurts you again, I promise. Days passed, and Raymond knew he had to act. He couldn't stand by and watch Elizabeth's jealousy continue to harm Clara. One day, while Elizabeth was out, Raymond made a life-changing decision. He packed their belongings and booked 2 tickets to the United States without informing Elizabeth. He and Clara left the house and boarded a plane, leaving behind the pain and chaos. When Elizabeth returned home and couldn't find her husband or daughter, panic set in. She searched the house frantically, then called their phones, but neither Raymond nor Clara answered. Days passed, and Elizabeth was drowning in fear and regret. Finally, Raymond called her. His voice was cold and firm. Elizabeth, I am in the United States with Clara, he said. You will not see us again for 10 years. Your jealousy and cruelty have gone too far, and I won't stand by and let you destroy my daughter's life. Elizabeth burst into tears, begging over the phone. Please, Raymond, come back. I promise I will change. I will never hurt Clara again. I will be a better mother, please. But Raymond wasn't moved by her pleas. It's too late, Elizabeth. You have caused enough damage. Clara deserves peace, and I'm going to make sure she has it. With that, he ended the call, and Elizabeth was left alone, drowning in regret. She cried every day, thinking about her actions and how she had driven her family away. She reflected on her words and behavior, realizing she had been consumed by jealousy and had failed her only daughter. Meanwhile, Meanwhile, in the United States, Clara found the happiness she had always longed for, free from her mother's anger. She blossomed under her father's love and care. Raymond ensured that Clara lived a life filled with joy and opportunities. Clara often told her father, "Dad, I'm so grateful for you. You have always been my safe place, and now I finally feel free." Raymond smiled, proud of his decision to protect his daughter, Clara. He said, "Your happiness means everything to me. I will always be here for you, no matter what." Together, they built a new life, one filled with laughter, love, and hope. Moral lesson. This story teaches the importance of love, understanding, and standing up against harmful behaviors. Even within a family, jealousy and anger can destroy relationships, but unconditional love and courage can heal and protect those we care about most. Parents should cherish their children and nurture them with kindness, while children should never forget the value of a loving parent. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch and support my story. I truly appreciate each one of you for being part of this journey. If you enjoyed the story, please don't forget to like, comment, and share with your friends. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on future stories. Your support means the world to me, and together we can continue creating amazing content. Thanks again.